So thank you so much, and I really appreciate this. And if anyone out there who wants to do this, do it. He's the real deal. It's true. It's amazing. It's the experience you need to have.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the beautiful, kind words.
And just to let you know, I haven't been in face. I haven't been in drag in like 6 months. I started doing it at like 4:40.
How do you feel being in drag after 6 months? How does it feel?
It feels back into where it needs to be, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know why you took a little bit of a breather break. My God, this is part of theater. Just do it.
Let me.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. No worries at all. It was a pleasure when I was told that you wanted to join. I said, absolutely. I'm always open and always love connecting with as many people as possible. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a great time. We're going to have fun with it. I always tell everybody, have an open heart, have an open mind, and have no expectations. We just let spirit dictate the direction of how things are going to go.
Okay.
And that's how we're going to pretty much go about it. So I'm sure you're no stranger to this. You're drinking already. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
What with that?
I'm going to need it.
So you're no stranger to this. I know that you saw me do Anita.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how the process kind of goes. So I will give you information, whatever is coming to me. We'll feel into it. We'll see what direction things are going in. And then from there, I will ask you, do you understand that? Yes, no, maybe so, however you feel. And then we'll have you validate. We'll do some cards later on. We'll have fun. We'll get the crowd interactive with it, and we'll just take it from there. Sound good?
Sounds wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And before we get started, do you go by Anna Rexia or Rexia.Anna? Because I know you have it reversed on your Instagram. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows and I call you by the right name.
Anna Rexia.
Anna Rexia, and that's what I thought. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So everyone, before we get started, if you are not following this beautiful queen, please do so. Her Instagram is Rexia.Anna, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, there you go. So please follow her, and as well, we always appreciate the support. If you like watching, please follow me as well. Always appreciate that. And we're going to get started, and we'll see where the journey takes us. Sound good?
I'm excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you permission. Do you allow me to connect with you?
I do.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to set the intention, and then we're just going to get kind of started on this journey. And some of the information might sound a little bit remedial. It's just establishing a guideline, and then we'll get into it. As you know, it gets deeper and deeper as we go along. So the first thing that I want to mention is that I do feel like recently would have been something of a celebratory time for you. So would you understand that you would have recently celebrated something that would have been important to you? Okay. So I do feel like you're past, and I hate to age people, but I want to say that you are past age 30, right? So you're between age 30 and 35. Does that make sense to you as well?
Correct.
Okay. I do get that you are someone who does enjoy, I'm getting like a really strong theater or enjoyment of theater and being on stage. So would you understand that theater is a part of your life, has always been a part of your life? But I do feel like there is somewhat of a disconnection, or it's not as strong now as it was in the past. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. And I do feel like your heart does miss that a little bit, because I do feel like you did light up when you were on stage. You enjoyed the connection of being on stage, performing, and being with a cast. I think that you liked that type of camaraderie feeling, and you feel a little empty with that not being such a huge part of your life right now. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. And I feel like you were I feel like you took a lot of liberty when productions happened as well. So I don't feel like you were only in it. I do feel like you participated in other areas of making the production happen as well. So for you, you were like a really key component, and you liked that feeling of having your hand in different areas within the production. Does that make sense?
Oh.
Okay. I think it's definitely, it's coming up, and I think again, and you know, how I brought up during Anita's reading with the singing, I think it's because there's a connection here, and I do think that there's something where you need to maybe think about trying to reconnect with this in some way, shape, or form again, and bringing it back into your life. Because I feel like there's somewhat of a dimness, and I think that this will help ignite something in you that really will bring out a lot again and help you heal, grow, and move forward into the future in a different type of light as well, okay? So hopefully that all makes sense to you. I know that you and Anita are together, so I do feel like a very strong relationship there. I do feel strong connection. I don't know if I remember telling her this or not. I don't know how long, but I do feel like it's between 5 and 7 years. Are you together around between 5 to 7 years?
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like there's not only a good connection between you in a relationship, but I also feel like there's a good connection as well with each other's family. Does that make sense? So I feel like she considers your family like her family, and her family considers you like their family. So I do feel like there's a strong connection there, and there's love and support from both sides. As I start to feel into your family a little bit, okay, I do get uncle energy with you. So would you be an uncle? Because I do feel like you have nieces or nephews. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I also want to say that as I feel into you, that you are one of two, or one of three, actually. I'm getting three. So one of three. So do you have 2 additional brothers? Because I feel all male energy around you. Does that make sense?
I do. Yes.
All right. I'm just trying to see here because they're giving me 2 brothers here, but I feel like their energy is a little bit different for me. So one of them I feel is very into. Well, I feel like both of them are different than you are. First of all, so I do feel like they both are cut from different cloths than where you are. But I do want to say that one of them I feel is very into boats, cars, bikes, everything that has a motor on it and you can basically drive. This guy is really, really into. I get father energy with him, and I do get married. All right, so I do feel like he does support you and is, in your life as well. So I don't feel like there's really much of a disconnection. Does that make sense to you?
Totally.
I feel like his name is like something like Rory. Is it close, like a Rory? I feel like it's Rory or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Very close.
Okay. But he's like a thrill seeker, I feel like. And I do feel like he kind of took after somebody in your family. There is someone already coming close that I do feel like has this type of energy or would have had this energy. And I do feel like your brother does kind of take on some of this energy to a certain degree. All right. The other brother, I feel father energy with this one as well. I don't feel so much of a thrill seeker, though, with him. And I do feel as well married, children, okay? And they're telling me that his birthday also would have just passed, like a month before yours is what I'm almost getting, around there, okay? So I feel like he would be like end of April is kind of what they're saying. Does that make sense? And they're giving me like a Jim. Do you understand the Jim? Would his name be Jim? I'm getting something with a J.
Close. Yes. It does start with a J.
Okay.
Very.
Okay. So I feel like your brothers do support you. I do feel like they are in your life. I do feel like you, I don't feel like any type of alienation. Do you agree with me on that? Like, can you understand that? I don't feel like there's really much of an alienation. I do feel like the three of you do get along for the most part pretty well and can be cohesively in a situation together and be able to all coexist. All right. I do feel with you that you are more of a internalist though, and I do feel like you are a little bit more shyer or quieter when it comes to you just being in an environment of being like in a room with people. I feel that you come alive more when you are on stage or when you are at work. Okay, and that's when your personality shines so much more through. But if you're just as you're normal and you are just in an environment hanging out, I do feel like you might take more of a backseat or more of a passive type of persona. And I feel like even within your relationship as well, does that make sense that you would be a little bit more passive and more of a backseat kind of person? Okay. I also get with you that you're like a big kid. So like I just feel like you're like someone who just enjoys to have fun. You like to joke around, like you're like a big kid to a certain degree, and you enjoy this. I mean, you have personality. I do feel like you have friends. You have a very good support system around you. But but you don't take too many things serious as well. So like you enjoy and have a good balance on taking like life as it comes to you and enjoy having fun. Does that make all sense? So I feel mom, and I feel mom is very supportive, very, very supportive around you. Okay. I feel like you do enjoy being around her. She enjoys being around you. I feel like mom is very supportive in general of a lot of people, and she is somewhat of someone who does like to help others as well. She is somewhat of I'm getting like a warm feeling about her, a warm lovingness about her, where she does invite people in and she enjoys this. Okay. I feel like she takes very well to Anita. Would you understand that as well? So I do feel like she does really accept and love her as her own. Okay. It's funny because as I go down, they're showing me this with the birthdays. I feel like it's mom, and then like I don't feel anybody in March, but I feel like it's mom, and then brother, and then you. So I feel like mom kind of starts this off, and I'm being drawn very close to like Valentine's Day for mom because they're showing me hearts. So I want to say that her birthday would be somewhere around Valentine's Day. Does that make sense to you? And when I tune into mom, also, I do feel that she does come from a couple of siblings, okay? I do feel where you are more male in your family, I feel like she has sisters, okay? So would you understand that she has sisters, okay? I feel like she is close with her sisters as well, all right? I feel like she's close with all of her siblings. So I want to say that she's one of four. Does that make sense to you? I feel like there's one boy. Is there one boy? Does she have one brother? Okay. And then with mom, I feel mom has definitely someone in her life as well. I'm getting that she has a supporter. She has someone that does love her. Okay, so I do feel like there could be potentially a partnership or maybe a stepfather. I don't know exactly how this man fits into play, but I do feel like they have been together for a very long time. Okay. For some reason, I don't know why, but I'm hearing like mambo music in my head. Like I want to dance like the mambo right now, and I just feel like the mambo is like really important. So I just feel like mambo, because I feel people are dancing like the mambo. I think that relates to him in some way. Okay, so just I want to make a mention of that. Before I start to bring spirit through, I'll have you validate a lot of this information so that the people watching can understand. I do feel that mom sometimes does have concern. So I'm not a medical intuitive, so I'm not going to go into any type of health things, but I do feel like mom does have concern sometimes with health. Would you understand that? And she does have worry with health. Would you understand that as well? Okay. Would you understand a scare with her as well at one point? Okay. Because I'm feeling a scare with her. Okay, and then I'm feeling potentially another scare possibly. So I feel like maybe there could have been a little bit of a gap, and then another scare might have happened. So she takes this very, very seriously. I'm being drawn like around 2015 or somewhere around there. Okay, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. She's very passionate about this as well. Okay. I feel like she somewhat of an advocate for this. I am being drawn to somewhere in the chest area for the situation. Does that also make sense to you? Okay. So she has a really good drive and a really good spark about the situation and how things are going. So I think her light is very bright, and that's the great thing. And she's such a great advocate. So I'm getting nothing but positive energy about the situation and her. So I think it's really great. And if she moves forward in this trajectory, she just really enjoys life, and she enjoys everything presented to her. She enjoys family. She enjoys grandchildren. She enjoys everything. This is what kind of gets her fueling, is what I'm getting from her. All right. She's really big about family, as I feel into your aura and I feel into mom. She really does feel into family. And she takes every person in her family very serious, you know? And I think that's really loving about her. It's a key component of who she is, I think, and what kind of mother she is, which is really great, okay? I feel German, also, German background. So is there German in your family, or is German a kind of a background within you? Because I do feel German, so I feel like German is really, really big. I want to say, like, I feel German Shepherd because I'm hearing German, so I feel like German Shepherd is important. So I feel like there is a German Shepherd that you would understand. But I also want to say, for some reason, I don't know what this is. I don't know much about German food, but is there a certain kind of like, I want to say like a cake, a German cake or chocolate, something with chocolate or German chocolate cake or something that I feel like is important because I keep hearing German, German, German. And I feel like these things are important because they're part of your nationality and your culture. And they're making a mention of this. There's actually someone who's bringing this forward. So I'm just going to break him through soon a little bit. But I just want to get through with a couple of more pieces that I'm getting about you. This individual who's coming through, who's mentioning this German stuff, I feel like comes from the German background, or is mentioning this German cake. It's also really big on cars, and it's very, very big about cars, cars, cars. And he's mentioning a car that you had purchased or a car that you bought at one point. And I feel like it's important for you. He's saying, like, oh, but that car is okay, but he could do much better than that car. But I feel like you bought something, I'm getting like a white car, some type of white car. So, and you're like, this man is mentioning this white car, and he's like, that's not a car. He needs like a better car. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yes, he would say that.
Yeah, he's like, that's not a car. So I'm going to bring this individual through because this guy has a very strong personality. And I do feel like he's a little bit charming. He's a little bit witty. He has a way about him, okay? He's already telling me one thing that he is saying, not son, so the son, your mom's brother, is named after him. So would you understand that first of all?
Yeah.
So this guy really enjoys cars for some reason. So he's making a mention of cars tremendously. So I'm just trying to get what this is all about with cars for him. So he's like bringing me to a room, and I don't know when this would have been, but I feel like there would be trophies or things that he would have won. I don't know if he won trophies at one point in his life, but he is acknowledging winning trophies, okay? So I'm trying to put the trophies together with the car. So I'm going to go into something where I feel like he is telling me that he did something with racing, or he did racing of cars, and he enjoyed this. But it went more than just racing cars. I think he also enjoyed like fixing them or partaking in getting them to perform a certain way. Okay, and I think this was a real big part of his life, a huge part of his life. He's also touching my hat. So I feel like he's like fiddling with my hat, and there's something about baseball caps. So I'm like, leave my hat alone in my head. I'm like, stop touching my hat. But he keeps touching my hat, okay? So I do feel like he would have wore baseball caps. This guy's a real piece of work, though. I think he's like a lot of fun. And he's making a mention of your brother. So I feel like your brother, I don't know if his name is Rory or not, but I feel like it's something like Rory. I feel like he would take after him a little bit with the love of the cars and the things that move, like, you know, the boats and the bikes, okay? I just want to see here. This guy's, well, here we go. We just filled in March. He's telling me, oh no, March is not missed. My birthday's in March, or something with March. So he's telling me March, March, March. So would you understand March is where, okay. So it's like mom, and then him, and then brother, and then you. It's like we go down the line. It's like there's no break, basically. You got to keep spending money every month. I do feel like he passed younger than he would have wanted. He is acknowledging that. He is acknowledging a very strong love with your mother as well. So I do feel like your mother does communicate with him on a daily basis and does reach out to him because he is mentioning and telling me to tell you that he hears her and he hears her voice. And I do feel like she puts a lot in his hands, a lot of problems, and she reaches out to him and really does acknowledge that he does help her. He keeps mentioning this German cake. I don't know why, what's about with this cake, but he loved this German cake. Love for grandchildren. So I get love for grandchildren, love for family. So kind of like your mother's energy. There's a very strong love for family. Okay. He's saying he did get to meet grandchildren, so there's no issue. I do feel like he is past it, though. I'm getting like quite a significant amount of time. I want to say like 18 to 20 years, if right around there is where he's kind of like leaning me towards on a scale. All right. He's telling me one thing. He's telling me that he visits you. He visits you. Okay. And for some reason, he's giving me this number. I don't know what this number means to you, but he's giving me the number 85. Would you understand the number 85?
I know.
Yes, no?
And I think I know it does have something to do with it.
Okay. There's also something with another number that's very significant to him, and he's bringing me towards like a 76. I don't know if there's something with 76 or something with the 76 in it, but I do feel like there's something there that's significant for him. He's pointing to a car or something about a car. So I don't know if there was a car maybe named 76 or something with the 76 in it, okay? But I think this is also important to recognize. He is with somebody, so I'm just going to pick up who this individual is because they are together, they are holding hands. All right? I'm just trying to get the relationship because I wanted to save it for the end, and I do want to say this would be mom's mom because he's mentioning son, like I said earlier today, and son having name after him. He's pointing to my name, so I would say an R would be a big part of his name as well. So would you understand an R? Okay, because I do feel like that's really amazing. He is there with so he's telling me with wife. So he's with his wife. Would you understand that? So grandma is also in spirit. He's telling me that his wife went by 2 names. Would you understand that? Like 2 first names? So she's there. She's also telling me that she had passed younger than she would have expected as well. Would you understand that? I'm getting like 60s or late 60s. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
She's showing me herself as a little bit more, I feel like she wasn't as, like, he had personality, correct? Would you understand that about him? I feel like she was a little bit more laid back or a little bit more quieter than he was. Okay, because she is showing me that she lets him really take more of the upfrontness and handle more of the talking. Okay, she's a little bit more in the background. All right. She's pointing to her glasses. I feel like she wears glasses. So she's like, my glasses, my glasses. So I feel like that's like important for her. She's also coming through apologizing with her passing because she feels like the timing was not really all that great. Okay, because she's saying it was just really, she's bringing me to the beginning of a year almost, to a beginning of a year. And she said, this is not the way I would want people to start a year. But she's like, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that. So I feel like she would have passed in the beginning of the year. Okay. But very close to her birthday, she's telling me. Very close to her birthday. So she would have passed within like a week of her birthday. She was a working woman, though. Would you understand that? That she was a working woman? And she really was a little entrepreneurial. And I feel like she really had a part in what she did. So, I mean, I'm going to feel into this a little bit. So I do feel like I feel like she owned something. She's telling me, I owned something. She's like, I was an entrepreneurial woman. She's taking me to like a ranch. Like a ranch. I see her walking for some reason down an aisle, and I just feel like there's animals on both sides. So I feel like there's something to do with a ranch or with animals, but I do feel like she had something to do with maintaining animals. But I do want to go more towards like horses, because I do feel like horses is really where she was. Okay? And she had this for quite some time. Would you understand that? She owned this for quite some time. She's like showing me, she's like, this is so weird. So she's showing me this, right? And she's like, oh, it's like a diamond. It sparkles like a diamond. And she's pointing to this. And she's like, mention diamond, mention diamond. So I feel like diamond is really important for her. And you would understand what that means, okay?
Totally. Yes.
Okay. They're very strongly connected to you. I feel like they're very strongly connected. There's something about someone in your family that I feel like rides horses or enjoys horses as well. Okay. I want to say that this is a female. She's telling me this female, and this female's birthday is very close to one of your brother's birthday. I feel like they're a day apart. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
This girl really likes horses, and your grandmother is mentioning, she's like a cowgirl. She loves the horses. She has a family. She enjoys horses. So she feels a little bit of that in her. I feel like this individual is a big part of your family. Your mother just gravitates to her a lot as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I do get like a strong connection with family, which is really, really great. I do love it because there's such a great bond that's happening with family. Grandma and grandpa are together on the other side. They are truly very, very happy. They are surrounding you, but they are really surrounding mom tremendously and really helping her during difficult times because they are saying that she's had her share of difficult moments and they've been there to help her step by step throughout the way. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Just know that they're there and they're loving you and they're just always there to support you, okay? They're saying to get back into a little bit more of a motivational phase of yourself. They feel like you have kind of like gotten down. You've been a little bit, I want to say complacent to a certain degree. Okay, you're not really who you were. They're gonna try to start to light a fire under you, all right? They're saying something about continue to be in hospitality or do something with hospitality where you like that also because you're interacting and mingling with people. So continue to or look into doing things that might involve that. And on that note, I'm going to let them step away and I'm going to let them go. And I always say 20 to 25 minutes and it's always 35 minutes like usual. So I'm going to ask you to verify. That was a lot of information. I never stopped. I just kept going, and I was going to stop, but I can't. It's hard for me. So I just like to talk. I'm a rambler. So
Yeah.
whatever you remember, you want to validate, please validate. I appreciate it.
Well, I made notes, so yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
good.
first thing, my birthday did just pass May 29th.
Okay.
So the celebration I just had.
Okay.
I'm into dance musicals. I used to choreograph for a high school show choir, the one I graduated from.
Oh,
For
wow.
9 years. I started choreographing in my 11th grade, and I did it up until 2015 before I moved out here to Palm Springs. And
Wow.
choreographed musicals with my local theater in Rialto for 5 or 6 years doing the same thing, choreographing. So you talking about me just not just being in the productions, but actually being a part.
Yeah.
I for those, and I decided to quit them to move out here to pursue my own drag career. And I have been missing those terribly, and I've been in contact with them recently trying to get back into it. So you were spot on that. That is one thing.
I can feel that. I can feel that from you, and I do feel a strong message for you to try to, whatever it is, even if it's choreographing drag shows or whatnot, get back into that. That's what you enjoy. It's important for you, okay?
And as far as Rory, my older brother's name is Corey.
Okay, makes sense. Close enough.
He's actually going to the river this weekend, and he has a boat. He has quads.
Wow.
Both my brothers do both the motorcycles and all that, but he's the one who has the most of it and all that. So, and then my mom's birthday is February 12th.
So, February 12th, that's my dad's birthday. Wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, and then you say her partner, and you say Mambo,
Yeah,
the music Mambo,
yeah.
his Mondo.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So that goes really, really close. The German Shepherd, him and my mom had 2 German Shepherds. One just passed recently.
Aww.
You say that was one big thing. The German cake, my grandfather loved. And my last name is also German, so
There you go.
you were close on both ends. That was really hard. My grandpa was racing. He did the Corona speedway in Corona, and he's actually was one of the people who helped build that place.
Wow. Yeah, I felt a strong passion for this racing. It's like, wow.
Him and my uncle both were big, and my brother started getting into it. When he passed, my brother did move in and help my grandma when she was younger. So
Okay.
he took on what he did. My brother did take on helping my grandmother when she got ill and when he passed. So
I love that.
that was a big thing too. Glasses. Grandma had these big, ugly red glasses, and we always talked about them. And she always said, "Where's my glasses?"
She was like pointing at the glasses. She's like, oh my God.
That was they both started and owned their own diamond stall was the company.
Oh my God, that's why she was pointing to this like a diamond. That's so interesting.
Diamond stall where they build the stalls for horses. And they did have a ranch. They did have horses and a couple other animals. So
Oh my
that
God. I love that. I love it. Did your grandmother have two first names?
I think she did, but I only know her as Betty.
Okay. Because your grandfather's saying two first names, so I didn't know if she go by like two, like, like Mary Ann or like Michelle Lynn. What is it?
Betty Sue.
Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you.
It was I always called her Betty, but now saying it, I remember Betty Sue was.
Okay.
We all called her.
I love that. Thank you.
And my cousin, their first grandchild is Tracy, and she actually has her own ranch and has horses. So,
that's why your grandmother mentioned her, the first grandchild, and there's like a likeliness. Oh my God, it's amazing. Thank you for validating that. I love it.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful messages.
Thank you. And you hit a lot, and I've been questioning if they were still around me and still accept me for who I am. So what you saying that they're always here has
they are. They're always around you, and they do support you. And I want to say that on the other side, there is no judgment. There is no recognition of wrong, or you know what I mean? So just know that whatever you're doing, they love you for who you are, and they're supporting you, and they want to see you succeed. And they will continue to support and ignite a light under you to help you get to where you need to be. And they feel like you're dimming down, and I feel like, they're saying you need to just get back to what really drives you and what motivates you, and that's what's really important.
Right.
Okay, so perfect. Thank you so much. I hope that I brought you beautiful messages and some and guidance.
You did.
Awesome. Oh my God, such a pleasure. All right, I'm going to pull a card for you first, okay? And then we're going to kind of take it from there, and then we'll open it up to everybody, all right? Okay. So you got Angel of Balance, but you got it upside down. Can you see that okay?
Uh-huh.
So this card normally means, in a loving way, a little bit of a warning that something could be slightly out of proportion in your current life, okay? So it could be an important emotional component. It could be lack of self-acceptance or self-care for yourself. It's about remembering to put yourself first and don't put yourself last. If you put yourself last, the universe is going to do likewise. And the universe does not want to do that. It wants to put you first and make sure that you succeed, okay? This angel in the card is here to help you break any toxic patterns. Just imagine aligning all of your chakras, bringing down the light and letting the chakras all align. And remember that you always have the power to bring things back into a peaceful balance into your life. And this is what this brings. And this kind of aligns with the reading that I kind of gave you a little bit about getting back to the roots of who you are, what you enjoy doing, what gave you your light and your passion, all right? And that's kind of what this card is saying to you as well. So I believe it makes sense, and it does sit well with you, about knowing that you need to just kind of get yourself back in balance a little bit and bring some organization, alignment into your life again. And then you'll be where you need to be, and you'll really have a really successful propel, okay? Perfect, great. Miss Anna Rexia, I will leave it with you now with final words before we depart.
Well, I want to thank you for everything. You actually opened up a lot. There's some questions I had, and you actually were able to fulfill those for me. Oh. And thank you so much, because there are questions that not just me and my family have been wondering. Like, everyone's been thinking if my grandma and grandpa accept me for who I am. And you tonight has actually said that, and there's stuff that you can't find on Facebook. I don't post shit on Facebook. I don't do anything. There's stuff that you've said that I don't even know. And there's one thing I left out, because you're wearing the baseball cap. My grandpa always wore the baseball caps.
Oh, wow.
So when you kept saying he kept touching your hat because he wants it, because he loved it.
He can't have it. He can't have it.
So, yeah. So, right. No, so you answered not just for me, but for my family. Those questions, and I know some of my family members are watching, and some of them are waiting for me to tell them what happened. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate this. And if anyone out there who wants to do this, do it. He's the real deal. It's true. It's amazing. It's an experience you need to have.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the beautiful, kind words. I love doing this. I love also working with all the queens, and I love giving back to the LGBTQ community as well and provide healing. It just really, helps everyone all around. And it's such a beautiful journey. And I'm happy that I was able to provide you and your family healing and guidance. And just know that they do support you and they do love you, and there is no judgment. And they're going to continue to support you. And now that they were able to communicate and bring messages to you, you are going to be a lot more open to receiving from them as well, because they have this opportunity to be able to come in and communicate and bring you these messages and let your mother know that they are strongly around her, okay? And that's really, really important. They are helping her get through many difficult times along the way, all right? And I'm just so happy I was able to provide you that information.
Thank you, thank you. And just to let you know, I haven't been in drag in like 6 months. I started doing it at like 4:40.
How do you feel being in drag after 6 months? How does it feel?
It feels back into where I need to be, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know why you took a little bit of a breather break. My God, this is part of theater. Just do it.
Let me do it.
Oh, she's tough.
But new days are coming, so.
New days are coming for you, new horizons, and I really feel like this is an igniter for you. Do you know what I mean? Okay. And I feel like this is going to help propel you, and you needed to do this, and I'm so happy that I was able to provide you the experience.
And I'm glad.
So thank you so much. I do want to also say quickly that Anita Rose's YouTube live with me, or Instagram live, will be on my YouTube tomorrow. So if you didn't get to catch it on Instagram, it will be edited and it will be up, and you get to see all of those fun moments all over again on YouTube. The link will be in my bio. So definitely join in, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Always appreciate that. Yes. Thank you, Anita. Thank you for the cameo. Appreciate it. She is so, I'll grab another box. Yeah, I was watching and I was crying again, to be honest with you, because I was editing it. So it was a lot of fun. I love you too. Yes, I love you. Thank you so much again. Don't be a stranger. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. If you know any other queens that would love to do this, please send them along. Another beautiful episode of Reading the Queen. I'm sending you love and light. All right, and have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, love.
Bye-bye, honey.